there, I'm Shawna Robins, founder and CEO of Third Spark. And today I have the pleasure of doing an Authority Magazine interview with the founder of Hot or Just Me, Carin Luna-Ostaseski, a serial entrepreneur who founded the Entrepreneurial Spirit Fund, which has provided over $350,000 in grants to underserved entrepreneurs, making a tangible difference in their lives. Today, she dedicates her time and mission to helping women thrive through perimenopause and menopause. Carin, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Shauna. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
All right, so tell me how you got started in the perimenopause and menopause field.
Yeah, so this is I call it my third act in life. My first one, I spent almost 17 years as a graphic designer and creative director, spending my time staring at computer screens and decided that's not what I wanted my legacy to be. And it was in my mid 30s, I was having this kind of, rediscovery of identity through a breakup, a divorce actually, and was just kind of figuring out where else was I unhappy. And I was unhappy with my job, but I was finding a lot of joy over a glass of whiskey with friends. And so I decided to take a step into the unknown and start a business for the first time ever. Just really hard to kind of change identity in your mid 30s, but I did. And that made me the first woman in history to ever create a brand of Scotch whiskey. And I was really fortunate the brand grew to success, was able to start a very meaningful grant program that you discussed, and then eventually sold the business to one of the largest spirit companies in the world. So I found myself in my mid 40s with a lot of extra time while my kids are in school and a lot of gas still left in the tank. And I said, what do I want to dedicate my life to? And it kind of started in my mid 40s where I started with some hot flashes, and a question that I was asking pretty much myself and everyone around me was, is it hot or is it just me? And
Mm.
came to realize that first it was just me, and a second that I was well into perimenopause. I had a lot of other symptoms that followed, like night sweats, brain fog, anxiety, hair loss, and more. And was trying to find resources and support as I wasn't quite ready for HRT just yet, and found a million wonderful products and services out there. Tested quite a few with myself and a trusted community of friends and advisors, and eventually put the winning products on our website, which is www.hotorjustme.com.
Okay, so talk to me about your website. Is it, give me an idea of what it is. Is it just products or do you have other offerings as well?
Yeah, so we have a resource library of information. We also have tips and tricks for combating your symptoms. And then we have products that are dedicated to some of the more common symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, insomnia, fatigue, low libido, vaginal dryness, hair and skin changes. And we have a bookstore and a gift shop as well. I hope to open up some more categories this year, including urinary incontinence, irregular periods, anxiety, and more.
Wow. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about the other symptoms like tinnitus and frozen shoulder and these other things that are kind of, achy joints and things? What do you think about those as
Yeah,
well?
yeah, for sure. I hope to expand to, all of the symptoms. I know that there's almost 100 symptoms that women
Yeah.
can face during this time in life. So really just trying to kind of get the majority of the, top 10 symptoms, if you will, and then address individual symptoms, later as the business grows.
So what are you seeing that most women are interested in when they come to your website?
It's funny. I would have guessed, I would have put my money on hot flashes and night sweats for sure. But where I'm seeing the biggest lift right now is in the low libido and vaginal dryness category. I think, it's a topic that is very relevant to women and something that's just not as discussed as some of the other ones. But it's something that women face and are looking for solutions for.
That's great that you have the opportunity for them to have that. Okay, so talk to me about weight loss. That was something that we didn't touch on. What
Yeah, weight
do you
loss is
cover
a
that?
tricky one for sure. I've actively chosen to kind of stay back from that category right now because it's just such a touchy subject, and women have enough I guess onslaught from media around weight loss and dieting and all of that. So, just trying to really encourage a healthy living, good diet, exercise, but not try to hit people over the head with any kind of like weight loss solutions out there right now.
Yeah, I agree. There is a quite a topic of conversation around this, some positive, some not so positive. So I think if we can redefine sort of how our bodies look in midlife, as long as we're healthy,
Yeah.
like what, like letting go of the way we used to look. I know for me in perimenopause and menopause, that was, and pregnancy too, that was the hardest thing, was like I was so used to having my body work and operate and look and be a certain way, and then having to accept that that way is different.
Yeah, and what used to
Now,
work doesn't work as much, right? Like, I used to be
yep.
kind of a cardio junkie, and now, I have more knee pains or shoulder aches or things like that. So really just, trying to focus more on strength training and healthy diet and prioritizing sleep and just having a bigger sense of wellness from within.
So I'm glad you touched on sleep because that's what I
Yeah.
do. So, can you talk to me a little bit about what sleep options you have on your website and what you're seeing from women in that area?
Yeah, so I start out with the tips and tricks, everything from optimizing your sleep environment, keeping your temperature somewhere between 60, 67, maybe timing it so that it kind of kicks in later at night. Diet changes like cutting out caffeine if you can, or limiting it to just that morning cup of coffee. And then obviously, as someone who used to be in the liquor industry and spent 10 years telling people to drink, I've now kind of taken a step back and said, maybe just day drinking or cut back on alcohol, especially late at night. And then, try to have just a light, healthy, clean meal versus having a heavy meal just before bed. And then optimize your house, right? So if it's blackout curtains, we have a selection of cooling sheets, cooling pillowcases, a variety of sleepwear and different fabrics and styles. And then, everything from like blackout eye masks. If you have a partner that snores like I do, invest in some great earplugs.
Mhm.
Magnesium at night is something else that I've heard is helpful for women. It definitely helps for me. Taking
Me
it
as
at night.
well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it helps more because your body is, if you take it in the morning, it's kind of absorbed by the time you get to bed. And so, yeah, just, keeping a glass of cold water by your bed. And also just trying to limit liquids towards the end of the night so you're not waking up to pee constantly,
Right.
which, could get you a little, disrupted sleep. And yeah, so I have, some of these products are on the website as well as some of these tips and advice.
Now, what about HRT? Do you do any HRT on the website at all, or is that outside of kind of your scope of what you have for
So yeah,
this?
I'm not a medical professional. I don't claim to be. We have all the disclaimers on the website as well. And I think HRT is a conversation to have with, I say, a very educated doctor about menopause, being that most doctors in the US only have 3 or 4 hours of menopause training. So I encourage people to go to menopause.org and look for a certified practitioner who's taken that level, extra level of certification. I myself had to go through 2 doctors before I found the right person that wasn't like looking to give me some Xanax for sleep or SSRIs for
Five,
anxiety. Yeah.
5 doctors.
You get it. You totally get it. And so it was very important for me to just say, like, not to say like to push back on your doctor, but yeah, absolutely. Like, say, is this the right person for me? Do I have the right team of support? And are they educated in the parts of aging that I'm going through right now? So when I did finally find that right person, I did discuss HRT. And given my background when I took hormones for birth control and IVF and the severe reactions I had, we decided like let's just wait a little bit because my current symptoms are not to the point where they're affecting my lifestyle so much. And so I am open to the conversation. It's just not there for me yet. So I always encourage people, it's such a unique journey and
Mm.
experience, and you might have to try different ones, even different modalities of it, if it's oral or patches or
Yeah, or
creams.
cream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So to
yeah.
try different things, but to have those conversations with your doctor.
Yeah, I think that's great. And we're going to find so many more, hopefully, research and studies data that will show us the power of HRT, not only for our brain health as we age, but our bones and our heart health. I see a lot of clients that come in and they have elevated cholesterol levels
Yeah,
because estrogen levels are so low. And, these things were never seen before by the medical community as being related, right?
exactly. Yeah.
And so now they're starting to see, like, why is it that more women than men have Alzheimer's and dementia? What are the leading causes? What are the factors in this, right? Estrogen plays a part in that. So I do think that it's so wonderful that you offer these resources to women that are either not ready for HRT but are thinking about it, or maybe also using it but want to augment other things in their lifestyle. It's always good to level up your sleep. It's always good to level up your nutrition,
Yeah.
change your exercise, take care of your body, get stronger, work on your bone health, all that stuff.
And I know this is about hot or just me, but I'd love to have you offer some tips and advice and resources here during our interview for women that might be looking for some of these support methods as well.
Oh, you're sweet. I actually think you touched on a lot of really great ones, I mean, the key ones, right? Eat a clean diet, right? Try not to snack on processed foods and sugars. The alcohol, it's funny that you have the background in Scotch because that's the only alcohol that I can drink now without creating hot flashes and night sweats for me. I had to completely break up with wine. I
Yeah.
had to completely break up with anything that was high in sugar, like margaritas or drinks like that. But I can have a little bit of Scotch neat and it's doesn't, affect me in any sort of negative way. And so, but I have to pace myself, right? Because I like it so much. So you and I share that in common. I would have liked to have tried your Scotch at some point in time. But yeah, daily exercise, like you touched on all the things. I think the only other thing is stress management, right? During this time in life, it's such a stressful time. What type of stress management tools do you have? Do you offer anything like that on your website?
So not yet, but I want to pursue a few things that have worked for me, but also kind of open it up to the community to see things I might not have heard of. So I've never been someone who was able to meditate, or I had a lot of criticism, inner critic about, am I doing this wrong? Is this the right way? Or I just thought like, oh, I've got all this like mental chatter while I'm trying to be calm. And then I discovered transcendental meditation a few years ago, and it's really just changed everything for me. I have a new sense of calm throughout my day, more patient with my children and my husband. And I just have these 20 minutes once a day. I just tried to do it twice a day, but it just wasn't happening. So the once a day is when I can commit to, and taking those 20 minutes is really just a reset, and just learning that it's okay to have the thoughts and the emotions and the feelings that come up through the meditation, that that's part of the body processing and letting it go. And so just to not have judgment around it. And then, just if I'm having anxiety or something during the day, I might, put on a calming app or a yoga nidra meditation, which I've discovered is really beautiful and calming as well. And then just, if I'm finding that sense of heart palpitations or anxiety creep up, I try to really just analyze the situation. Like, did I have caffeine? Am I exhausted? Am I dehydrated? Am I looking at something that's like just very visually stimulating? Should I just, leave the situation or look at a plain white wall and take some deep breaths and try to like calm myself down and recognize that no, I'm not having a heart attack. I'm okay. I'm just having a panic. And so that's happened later in life. It was something that scared me the very first time it happened. And then just after, talking to doctors and some self-discovery, just realized that it is a common symptom of
It is.
perimenopause. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And adrenal fatigue that goes along with the panic attacks. They
Yeah.
usually go hand in hand. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's
Can you talk a
wonderful.
little bit about that to our
Oh,
listeners?
I can talk for hours.
I know this is your sweet spot, so
Yeah, that's the thing for women, right? I feel like it's overlooked that there's such a focus on high cortisol levels, but not on low cortisol levels with adrenal fatigue and burnout. And that's what happened. One of the things that you start to see are panic attacks, right? Because the body is overcompensating for not having enough cortisol. So it's making norepinephrine and adrenaline. And so that's what creates this, massive flood in the system. So yeah, it's a really important thing. I love that you touch on going inward to figure out what's happening as opposed to always just reaching out. That to me is one of the silver linings of perimenopause and menopause is that now we can reach back into ourselves. We don't have to be so focused externally on our job and our partner and our children and our parents. And it's like, what is it that I need?
yeah.
And I love that you offer that to women about the ability to check in to see what's actually going on with you and
Yeah, a big one
in
that
your
I've
mind.
learned too is just saying what's happening, right? Like, in my family, I'd be like, hey, I'm feeling frustrated, and just naming the feeling versus holding it in, bottling it up, and then having it explode. And just it's more like letting it seep out with just the words of the feelings.
Yeah, and that's really powerful, empowering and powerful because when we're younger as women and we're just trying to keep the peace all the time, we're trying to be the good girls, right? Trying not to rock the boat, keep the clients happy, keep the husband or partner happy, keep the children, it's so taxing this emotional labor that we
Yeah,
keep on ourselves.
yeah.
So to not do that, to break that pattern, I feel like is such an important part of what I call authentic aging as women get older.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for meeting with me.
Oh, Shauna, this has
Tell me
been
how
such a
people can
delight.
find your
Thank you.
website again and how they can
And
find you.
yeah, so a hotorjustme.com and hot or just me on all social media.
Fantastic. Wonderful. I can't wait to follow you and hear all the great things you have to say. Thank you,
Thank you,
Corinne, so
Shauna.
much for joining me.
Likewise, thank you.